My advice to you is to start drinking heavily.
You take drugs, Danny? Every day. Good. So what's the problem?
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Boy, that escalated quickly.
You know, before this is over, I'm gonna need a whole lot of serious therapy.
Johnny, I got so much energy. We better start doing stupid shit.
What's up? What's going on?
What's up, man?
How's it going, guys?
Good. We've been trying to figure out lighting, the whole nine. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I hear you.
Dude, you sound good, man. I don't know why my face is so red right now. I'm just trying to figure out this. My apartment is just like fucked up in the lighting aspect, apparently.
It is what it is. Sometimes you can't do shit about it.
It's red for Texas. That's what it is.
Yeah, we'll go with that. All right, we got Logan Lewis on. Dude, how long have you had that Dunder Mifflin shirt?
Oh shit! I just realized we're live. I think I got it actually Black Friday last year. You go to like Target or Walmart in the graphic tee section. They just have a shitload of. I can cuss on here, right?
Dude, yeah, you do whatever you want on there, yeah.
Okay, a shitload of like graphic tees, and this was one of them, and it was on sale for like $5, and I was like, oh yeah.
God, that's a great buy, dude. $5 for that. You should have gotten us one pair.
Yeah, I should have gotten like 6 of them and started making money off of it.
Seriously, I would definitely rock a shirt like that.
We obviously got to support a failing paper company. So.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's hard times in a pandemic for a paper company,
especially based out of Scranton.
You got to think they're struggling right now.
Exactly.
All right, Logan, we brought you on because, we just met you on Twitter a little bit ago, and we want to know a little more about you. And obviously, I don't know if we ever told you why we started this podcast to begin with.
Go ahead. I don't think you did.
Okay, well, basically, I was bored as fuck during the pandemic, and I wanted to sort of give my friends a creative outlet to be able to talk about shit. But it's transpired to the point where we're able to talk to people like you and different people on the internet that we got to know. So obviously, you have a media company, you have a podcast. So give us a lowdown on that, man. And for the people that are listening, all the tens of them.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on first and foremost. It was nice of you to reach out and offer. I don't really consider myself like when you talk about, I re-listened to a couple episodes that you guys did today, including the first intro one where you said like, we're going to talk to like internet celebrities or like Twitter personalities. And I was like, that's not me, but I'm happy to come on and plug for a little bit. I'm not going to pull a Micah Weiner and just plug, but shouts to Micah. But yeah, I have a few podcasts that I do. I started doing them in May of 2018, just for shits and giggles. I think I listened to a lot of like the Touching Base and like the old Grand X podcasts that they used to do. And one of my buddies got me hooked on them. And after a while, I was like, you know what? I could do that. I've always wanted to do like a YouTube channel or some kind of creative outlet. And I just woke up that morning, went to Best Buy, bought a mic, and here we are 2 years later. And I've got 3 pods now. Wow. And about to be a 4th, maybe a 5th. Who knows? God,
keep diversifying.
Isn't it awesome? Like, it's all it takes, man, is to just go online, buy a mic, and then get started doing it. And obviously the podcast market is saturated right now with everyone putting things out there. So what are you talking about on your podcast? What are you doing? Because we're just kind of bullshitting, man. And we're just trying to get people to come on and talk to and do all this shit.
Yeah. So the one that I started, it was at the time it was called Hold On to Your Butts. If you get that reference, you win points in my book. But it's now called the Binge Boys, and that's where me and a couple of my buddies, we sit down and we talk about the hottest in like movies and music and pop culture, review stuff, talk about our thoughts, all that fun shit. I started one a few months back called What Are We? And that's one where me and my I don't want to call her an ex-lover, but a girl that we tried to date. It didn't work out, and we just became good friends. And we started a dating and relationships podcast, and that's what that one is all about. And then the third one is kind of actually pretty similar to you guys' mindset on this pod of just I wanted a solo outlet where I could talk to anyone I wanted to about whatever I wanted to. So I called it Whatever I Want.
Yeah.
And that's where I plan to eventually get you guys on as well. If you're down for that, we'll talk.
Yeah,
Mike. But yeah, just to bullshit around, I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan here and there. I'm sure you guys do at times too. And I thought, it'd be cool to be able to talk to, whoever, not necessarily restricted in either the dating category or the entertainment category. I can just talk to whoever the hell I want. And I've gotten to talk to like Micah, I actually had on a few weeks ago, and the Millennials and Mimosas girls, they came on as well. A lot of cool people that's I've gotten to talk to. I'm sure you guys can relate with this outlet as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, man. Like Whatever I Want. It's basically what we're doing here. We just didn't have the balls to call it like that.
I mean, I'm sure like you guys did. I sat around for days just thinking like, what the hell do I call this thing? Like, I'm not going to go and call it like the Logan Experience or the Logan Show or like Joe Rogan did for the Joe Rogan Experience. And I was like, I got to come up with something better than that. But then I thought, and then I actually had like an idea at one point to call it like Logan Radio or something like that, like very similar to y'all's.
Well, I kind of copped out on KFC Radio because we're big Barstool fans, and KFC Radio is literally my favorite podcast. So I kind of copped it off of him. But at the same time, imitation is the best form of flattery, right?
Yeah, you got Mad Dog Radio, you gotta...
I completely agree. So that's why, and I was talking to my girlfriend, she was like, just call it whatever you want. Don't worry about what people think. It's your pod. And I was like, wait. Whatever I want. She was like, no, I didn't mean that. And I was like, no, whatever I want.
That's what we're going with right here.
That's what we're going with.
No, it's perfect. So like in terms of doing the pods, Logan, so like what do you think's the difference between, kind of bringing a guest on when you're by yourself and always having like a guest with your other two podcasts? Like kind of talk us through the differences for the audience in terms of what preparation you have going into those.
So when I have guests, I try to make it like as comfortable as an experience as I can, whereas like with my co-hosts, like they've been doing it, I don't want to say as long as I have been, but like they're comfortable behind the mic. The people that I want to get co-hosting with me on pods are people that I'm not afraid to stick in front of a microphone. Like, some people, I'm sure you guys relate, like some people get scared when they get in front of the microphone for the first time. Whereas like when I have guests, I try my best to prepare and, throw the questions at them and try to, and by throw questions, I mean like throw questions beforehand, just say, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is exactly what we're going to be doing. I want you to tell me if there's any bit of this that's uncomfortable for you, just whatever you want. Like that's what I'll do. Like I am here to serve you, even though you're here helping me.
Right.
Like that. I'm sure you guys can agree on that too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So how do you go about that, man? Like trying to find guests. Obviously, some people like Mads and like other people that you've had on before. Do you go out of your way necessarily to just randomly DM people? Because honestly, dude, that's what I've been doing for the past like 2 weeks now. And it's honestly worked out pretty well where we're getting some comedians from New York and California on and all that. So like, I wanted to hear like what your approach is when you're trying to get some guests on that you want to have on your podcast.
Well, I think you actually inspired me more because in the past, so when I first started Whatever I Want, I was like, okay, this is going to be my guest-centered my guest centric podcast. So I'm just going to like reach out to as many people as possible. So I like reached out to like people that I knew I was never going to get. Like I reached out to like Drake's team or like I just found like the generic like info.drake.com or whatever.
Right.
That like his publicists and stuff like list. I like reached out to like a bunch of hip hop artists or a bunch of local Atlanta hip hop artists and just like celebrities like Chris Pratt. Like I have this bit going on my Twitter right now that like I'm DMing Chris Pratt every day until
I
he
saw
answers.
that actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was good.
I doubt he'll answer, but I mean, here's what hoping like one day maybe he looks at his DMs and be like, "Damn, this guy DM'd me 300 days in a row just to get me on his pod. Like I'm gonna do it."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you inspired me to. I think you said all it takes is a DM, and I thought, well, shit, you're right. The worst they can say is no. So that's when I started reaching out to like Micah, and he instantly said yes.
Yep.
And then a bunch of those other personalities in the Washed and Grand X world or whatever. So yeah, I just try. Lately, I've been like settling in to the like to the what's the word, like the demographic of like followers that the guest has.
Yep.
It says like, okay, so they have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 followers. I bet I could get them.
Exactly.
Right.
Versus like someone that has like 300,000 followers. I'm like, okay, maybe that's going to take some time to get there. But I'm, again, I've said this at the end of every sentence. I'm sure you can relate. I mean, the amount of followers they have in my mind equates to like, so if they have 30,000 followers, odds are their DMs are full with like maybe 10,000 DMs or 15,000 DMs. So, I just try to like think about it like that. And I tried Instagram, but Instagram honestly doesn't work that well for me, at least from my experience for reaching out to guests. Twitter is the thing that
honestly, Twitter is the move. Yeah, it's the best way to get them. And just going off of that, like what you said, because obviously I like to compare it to this, right? Like you might apply for 200 jobs. You might get 10 companies that respond to you. You might get 5 interviews. You might get 2 offers, and then you might take 1. At the same time, it's just a numbers game where, and I'll equate it to this too. Like we swipe right on Bumble, on Tinder, on whatever. And you might do it like on 200 girls. You might get 10 bites. You might get 5 people you talk to, and then you might talk to 1. It's a numbers game. And it really is that way. And it's not a bad thing. It's just the way it kind of is. And it creates sort of an experience where you are able to talk to some people that you might never have thought you'd been able to talk to in your life, right?
Sure.
So that's one of the greatest things that I've found.
Yeah, I completely agree. I had never thought about it in the Tinder or Bumble world, and not unlike girls. Like if like a girl will be like, she'll pull the line of like, oh, so you just swipe right on anybody. Like in this situation, yes, I'm trying to get anybody that wants to come on and talk about whatever. I don't care if they have 5 followers or 50 or 500.
Exactly.
Like, any publicity is good publicity, at least at this point. I mean, I don't want people to be digging through my tweets from when I was in middle school and find out that I said some pretty disturbing shit. I actually deleted all my tweets, so good luck, fuckers.
Yeah, you gotta erase them now.
I erased them. So I don't know if I said anything controversial in the day. I'm sure I did. I was in middle school. I had trash opinions. But yeah, it's 100% a numbers game. Anyone that you think might not reach out, like for example, I don't know if you guys watch The Bachelor at all or are in with that world or whatever. I reached out to a contestant that was on the last season. Just like I just slid up on her Instagram story and just like nothing professional. I literally was just like, be on my podcast. Like just because I was like, she's never gonna see this. She was on The Bachelor. Her DMs are flooded with shit. Yeah. No, she responded instantly. And she was on the 2nd episode of the dating podcast.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And it was like, holy shit, like I'm just gonna start doing this for everyone.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean the worst I could say is no, right? I mean, like you have nothing to lose. So why not put it out there?
I don't know if you guys have seen this, but one of the worst things is like when they do see the DM, but it shows like that they read it and didn't reply, and it's like, At least they read it. At least they read it.
You know
They
what?
just deleted it immediately.
You know what? I still called out a win in my book because at least they read it.
True. I don't disagree.
And I've even had, so I reached out to Mike the Situation and his wife Lauren the other day.
Yeah.
So I emailed their publicist, and I got a long email back saying, we appreciate it, all that, but no. But I'm still like, fuck, at least they responded to it.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's a win.
100%. So Logan, Binge Boys, I'm sorry, not to cut you off, Johnson, but Binge Boys, I'm just curious, like, without the movies and stuff and kind of like everything being in flux. I know you guys talk about music and everything too, though. But so how's that been for you guys on that podcast?
So that's great that you asked that. I'm glad you did. It's been tough. I mean, going back, we have, I don't know if you can see it back there. My buddy for Christmas got me this poster, and on the poster, it's like 100 movies you need to see before you die. And we kind of have been trying to go off of that and watch movies and just review old shit like Indiana Jones or Back to the Future or Dirty Dancing, just like classic shit that we haven't seen. I mean, we've seen a lot of those big name movies, but like I'd never seen Dirty Dancing, honestly, until a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And we just try to talk about stuff like that. Like Netflix, Hulu, HBO original movies, those have been kind of taking up the time.
Yeah, fair.
So I've watched a whole lot more Netflix original movies than I ever had planned on it. And honestly, because they're Netflix original movies, they're not all A+. Yeah. But I've watched some solid movies. I would much rather have seen by now, the new James Bond movie, the new Black Widow, Mulan. I would have rather watched all that stuff by now, but I guess we're taking what we can get.
Absolutely. I actually binged it. Umbrella Academy on Netflix.
We were just talking about that last night when we recorded the Binge Boys. I can't get into it.
So I just followed along. It wasn't because I necessarily loved the characters or necessarily loved the storyline, but I think it was a combination of me giving them kind of like B's across the board, where I was like, it's good enough for me that it just keeps me invested. And they kept a nice cliffhanger on season 2, where I was like, I'm gonna definitely watch season 3, but it wasn't profound or anything. But I was like, this is a good show for me that I'll keep watching it, and I enjoy to the point where I am entertained.
And that's a Netflix original, right?
Yeah, Netflix original.
It's like #1 across every country you can like look at.
Yeah. It's insanely popular right now. Both of my co-hosts on the Binge Boys love it, and they keep like just begging me to keep trying. But I'm sure I'll watch an episode tonight. But I recently started, and that's another thing too. I've started watching shows that I never thought I would watch. Like, my buddy gets HBO Max for free through his cable subscription or whatever. So I've been watching a bunch of like old HBO shows I never would have watched. Like I'm watching Ballers right now. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Ballers. Yeah, Ballers is really good.
Yeah, and now The Rock owns the XFL, so it's kind of like the show coming to real life. It's pretty funny.
I watched a few episodes and I try to compare it to Entourage, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can get into this, and maybe that's why I was turned off by it.
Yeah, I can see that.
One of my buddies compared it. He was like, if you like Entourage, it's basically Entourage with The Rock and about sports. And I'm not a huge sports guy, but I've found interest in like their characters more than anything. Mm-hmm. And I just realized that one of the dudes in that show is like the main guy in the Tenet movie that's coming out here in a few months.
Yeah.
John David Washington.
David Washington. Yeah, he's a receiver.
Yeah, so I'm more hyped for Tenet than I ever was. But just watching shit that I never thought I would watch, which I guess is a blessing, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Way to kill some time too. But yeah, I mean, I guess, right, because you get to diversify a little bit more in terms of what you watch, what you and your boys are discussing too. Now, is it like, do you guys have like one big movie head, or you guys all like kind of movie entertainment heads and you all bounce each other off?
Okay, so that's good that you bring that up, because I was telling someone the other day. So one of my buddies, one of my co-hosts, Pearson, he is more of a music guy. Like honestly, man, if you throw on like Migos, I know it's not amazing music, but it's not like Jay-Z rap, right? It doesn't have a purpose. It's not telling a story. Like it's not like Eminem or something. Like he listens to like real music that actually like means something, whereas I can just throw on like Lil Yachty and just like as long as I can like bop my head to it, like that's it. So people appreciate his perspective because they realize that my take on music is trash. But like I'm huge into movies, and then Zach's a big TV guy. So yeah, it kind of balances itself out. Actually,
nice.
I've never really thought about it.
Yeah, it works out well apparently.
Yeah, I mean it's all right.
All right, so Logan, you're in Atlanta right now.
Correct.
How's that going, man?
Well, actually, I'm glad you asked, guys. I am on lockdown. I'm currently quarantining because this is the second time I've had to lock myself in my room because of a COVID scare.
Oh no!
I can tell you about mine, but I want to hear about yours first.
Yeah. So the first time around, a few weeks ago, my mom actually got COVID. She actually got it. And she was sick as a dog for like a month, and she's pretty much like back to normal at this point now, and she's all good. But I was around her before she started experiencing symptoms, so my job was just like stay home, don't go anywhere. So I did that, and then this past weekend, as soon as we were in the clear from my mom being sick, me and my roommate had some people over, just like small group, maybe like 6 people. And we played some drinking games, and then yesterday we get a text saying, "Hey guys, I woke up feeling like shit. I'm going to get a COVID test." So now I'm on lockdown again. Sounds like I better just stop going and seeing people.
You just got to stay in your room and binge movies and.
Guess that's what I got to do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've traveled a few times during the whole, quarantine situation. And Logan, I told you I was in Mexico a couple weeks ago, and one of our friends on the trip, she actually tested positive for COVID in New York.
Oh shit!
She was feeling like shit in the airport when we were flying back. So we all got tested. She tested positive, but everyone, Brad, on our trip tested negative.
Yeah, I've been in like
including
the group
myself.
chat. I didn't go, but I'm in the group chat, so I've just been like checking people off who has it, who doesn't.
I thought it was miraculous because we literally shared cups. We were in the same house for the longest time. We were in the airport together. I hugged her before I left and all that. And negative. I don't know, man.
Well.
What'd you think of the COVID test?
Well, I did it twice. So I did it like a month and a half ago, and then I did it like 2 weeks ago. It's a pain in the ass.
Really?
I hate sticking that thing up my nose for the fucking longest time. And just giving myself an anal or a fucking nasal fucking
anal.
They did not do that.
Getting the colonoscopy.
Yeah, I would have called suspect on that, but no.
You're like, might as well get this done while you're here.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not too bad. It's just a little bit annoying, but I've done it twice. If I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. I'm fucking done with it. Whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, I know that the pandemic has like its consequences, and I know people are sick and people are dying out there, but it's kind of cool being able to say that you got a test during the pandemic. Just because
it's like history.
Yeah, it's a part of history. Like,
yeah, I could say I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the whole thing. I was really scared because I know my parents had to do it, and the way my dad told me he was like, "Dude, it sucks. Like, it's the worst." And then my mom was like, "It's not that bad." So I was like, what the hell? It's like when you ask people what a tattoo feels like, and some people are like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't hurt at all," but then some people are like, "Death."
Yeah.
So the dude was really gracious with me. I don't know if he was just gentle, but like I felt no issue or pain or nothing whatsoever. It was like,
oh wait, so you did like where someone like actually did it for you?
Oh yeah, someone had to. He told me to. I didn't even have to get out of my car. It was like a drive-through one.
Oh wow!
And I would roll my window down, put the car in park, and he's just like, "All right, like lean your head back, and we're gonna count down from 10." And he did it himself, and he was just like, "All right, we're done."
Oh shit! Yeah, I went through like give you the kit, and then they make you do it yourself and walk through the window and all that.
Oh shit! I didn't know that they were doing that.
Yeah, so maybe I did it wrong, and maybe I just was actually positive
the whole time.
Yeah. Or maybe my guy did it wrong and I actually have it.
Yeah, it was like all self-done. So I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. But like, yeah, I didn't know, because obviously I've seen those facilities where they actually do it for you and all that. But
yeah.
Interesting.
But kind of bringing this full circle, I guess, then I just got this thought in my head. So how's like so what you guys discuss on the dating pod, how has that changed during like this whole pandemic?
Well, that's also good because we started the pod during the pandemic, like maybe March, April. So like I don't know about
right
you
at the
guys.
beginning.
So Atlanta got locked down pretty much like I think like mid-March, by like the 15th of March, maybe Atlanta was just like, all right, we're done with everything. And maybe I think it was early April we started it. So we've not really been able to discuss anything long term. And I was like a quote unquote bachelor for like years and years and years and years. And then I finally got locked down as soon as we started the dating podcast.
Oh, wow.
And so now it's basically me talking about how great my relationship is and her talking about how shitty guys are all the time. So
wait, when did you start dating your girlfriend then?
We started dating officially at the beginning of March, like at the beginning of the pandemic.
Okay, gotcha.
You got on at the right time.
Yeah, but we talked, for a couple months prior before that. But yeah, we got official as soon as the pandemic started, and it's kind of been interesting. I mean, I haven't been in a relationship for 5 years or so, and I kind of forgot what the relationship like boyfriend role like whole thing was about. And I don't know. The pandemic didn't really hit at the right time for that, but again, what the hell are we going to do?
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of go get through it. But like what made you want to start that podcast then? I mean,
so what's the one? I used to listen to a dating podcast. I forget what the hell it was called. Well, everybody's at least heard an episode of Call Her Daddy. And my co-host really likes Call Her Daddy. Okay. And I was always like, it'd be fun to talk about dating, especially because me and you, we suck at dating. And then as soon as we start the pod, I get a girlfriend. Right. So it's like, so the whole like backstory.
Logan, did you ever listen to the one with J.R. Hickey and Jenna Crowley? Don't Take It From Us. Like this was like
on your pod?
No, like they had a podcast. This was back like 2-3 years ago.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah. So they had one before, obviously JR became, part of Watch Media and all that, but they started talking about dating and all that. So I was just wondering if you ever, heard that one. But
no, I didn't. I didn't even know he had one. I don't know much about J.R. Hickey. I mean, I know he's on so many screens and I know he lives in California, but that's about all I know about the guy.
Yeah, no, he's an awesome guy. You should try to get him on at some point. He's very receptive, very cool guy. But anyway, that's Call Her Daddy.
Yeah, no, the whole reasoning behind us starting it was like, we both go on dates all the time. We never can lock someone down. Like it'd be fun to just talk about dating stories and dating preferences. And we get our listeners to submit dating stories. So we get to read off crazy hookup or crazy date experiences. And we've gotten a couple really, really fucked up stories. So that's been pretty fun. I can't seem to get a hotline hooked up correctly because every time I set a hotline number up, after 3 days of it being hooked up, like I just start getting messages from like DoorDash because I think people are using the number to like scam DoorDash orders.
Oh,
so I don't know what the hell is going on.
I assume you asked Mads about that. How do they have their set up?
She said that she sent me like step-by-step instructions and they haven't had problems. It's just me.
That's funny.
I don't get it. It's pissing me off.
All right, well, try to keep getting that set up, dude.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if I just aren't able to get a hotline, then I'll just settle for. We have an email address that people can email into. So yeah, that's that.
Sounds great, man. Logan, thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
No, I really appreciate you guys.
Brad, do you have any other questions?
That's pretty much it for me. I'm looking forward to coming on with you and just kind of having a reverse role here and just kind of explaining about us too. And I'm gonna have to definitely dive into Binge Boys, man, because I'm looking for other stuff too.
Good, man. Yeah, check us out. We're on everywhere you guys are available, and I can't wait to have you guys on. We'll talk about that a little later off mic. I wanted to keep asking you guys questions, but then in my head I was like, stop, ask them on your pod.
Yeah, we'll do a flip, like a home and home series here.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, big shouts to you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You want to plug your Twitter and where we can follow you at?
Sure. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Logan Lewis 96. You can follow the podcasts on social media. They're just the podcast titles. I don't need to go through all 3,000 of them. But Binge Media on Twitter and Instagram, look them up. That'll be where you get the updates for all of them. So yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
Sounds great. Logan Lewis, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on. Follow him on all of his platforms. And we'll talk to you soon, man. Thanks again.
Sounds good, guys. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Later, man.
Bye.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday bed.